The U.S., France, and Britain consider military action in Syria. I'm Terry Okita in London with more on the diplomatic standoff at the United Nations.
Today is Equal Pay Day. I'm Adair Spab, and coming up, I'll let you know what local businesses are doing to recognize this day.
Good morning and welcome to your Wet Wednesday. Current time 6:30. The Trump administration and its allies could launch a possible joint military response to Syria's alleged chemical weapons attack as soon as the end of this week.
Yeah, the UN Security Council failed to pass two resolutions on who is to blame for that deadly assault. CBS's Terry Okita has the latest this morning from London.
A team of international chemical weapons experts is on its way to Syria to investigate the alleged chlorine gas attack on the town of Douma. More than 40 civilians died, including children.
The draft resolution has not been adopted.
The UN Security Council has met 4 times this week on Syria, but vetoed opposing resolutions from the U.S. and Russia that would determine who's responsible for Saturday's attack. Russia is Syria's close ally.
History will record that on this day, Russia chose protecting a monster over the lives of the Syrian people.
Tensions are escalating over a possible U.S.-led retaliatory strike. Russia warns of grave repercussions if America takes military action. Syria's UN representative had a message for the West. Your threats of aggression, your misinformation, your lies, and your terrorism will never derail us. Syrian forces are on high alert, readying military bases across their country. Russia has a major airfield in Syria, but deliberate attacks against Russian facilities are unlikely, for fear it could lead to a nuclear standoff. Terry Okita, CBS News.
Now there are more White House meetings expected before a final decision is made. President Trump canceled his trip to South America to deal with this situation in Syria. So certainly more to follow. We'll have more coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning as well.
Certainly. Yeah. Certainly a wet morning, a little wet Wednesday.
It's really coming down out there. It's nice.
Yeah, you get to go out there. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
it'll be great. We'll
daffodils
get you an
coming
umbrella and we'll look at you through the window.
Make faces at me?
Maybe.
Yeah, don't feed the animals. That's usually how it goes. Basically, our temperature is warm enough that we're seeing rain showers for most areas. We may see a little light snow trying to develop for a few areas as well. Temperatures into the 30s in Butte, mid-30s at that. We have reports of snow at Burt Mooney Airport, but it looks like most of the roads across the area are simply wet or damp. Temperatures holding into the 40s and low 50s through the afternoon. We are setting the stage for another winter weather maker. We'll break that all down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:33 in local news. Authorities in Sweetgrass County believe they have found the body of a man who has been missing for close to 2 weeks. Sweetgrass County resident contacted authorities on Tuesday saying they found a body in an area that was recently searched. Search for 28-year-old Bryce Arneson of Bozeman in the area began March 30th when authorities responded to a call for an erratic driver near Graycliff. He fled from authorities, but due to severe weather, they backed off, set up a perimeter, and requested backup. They began searching for Arneson again the following morning and found his vehicle in a creek, but no sign of him. Now, the body found on Tuesday has been taken to the state medical examiner's office in Billings. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the cause of death and, of course, positive identification of the body.
And officials with the Environmental Protection Agency stopped in Anaconda yesterday to give residents an update on the Superfund cleanup site in the city. MTN's John Amy was there as well and has our report.
Superfund cleanup in Anaconda is now a national priority.
You may not have been on the top rung of the ladder up till now. You're now in the top rung of the ladder as far as his emphasis.
Albert Kelly came in from Washington, D.C. to tell the large crowd at the Old Works Golf Course in Anaconda that his boss, EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt, has put Anaconda and Butte on a priority list of Superfund sites that will receive attention.
Oftentimes you'll find sites that sit for a long time without action. This is not the case in Anaconda. There's been a lot of action up here, a lot of action and a lot of good action. We've had a lot of professionals working on it. But he wants to send the signal that now's the time to get this finished.
For the past 30 years, the people in Anaconda have been trying to get the EPA to clean up this Superfund site, with much of the pollution coming from that old smelter stack. Well, now the EPA says they have a definitive goal of 2025 to get the cleanup done.
This is moving forward and this is going to get done. And also by giving you a date, quite frankly, it gives you something to hold people accountable to.
Top EPA officials are visiting Anaconda and Butte this week to address the cleanup of smelter and mine contamination left by Atlantic Richfield.
We're committed to ensure that all properties within the smelter district are eventually or ultimately sampled. That includes interior soil, interior dust and soils, and have that work completed with any cleanup that's necessary.
Many Anaconda residents appreciate the cleanup taking priority, but some question if it's enough.
To me, it's a little bit like having 4 alligators in a pool, pulling 2 of them out and saying, okay, it's good to swim now. I just still think there are human health implications that need to be looked at.
The EPA says it hopes to have a consent decree agreement with all parties involved in place by July. If not, it will order Atlantic Richfield to clean up the mess. In Anaconda, John Amy, MTN News.
Now, the EPA will meet with residents in Butte this morning at 10:30 at the Butte Public Archives to talk about the cleanup plans in Butte.
In other headlines, on average, women make about 74 cents of every dollar that a man makes in the workforce. MTN's Medeiros Babb finds out what Bozeman is trying to do to lessen that wage gap.
April 10th is recognized around the nation, state, and now the city as Equal Pay Day. Its goal?
Reaching a day when men and women earn the same wage for the same work after the same duration of work.
The Bozeman Film Celebration this summer will focus on women. Artistic director of the celebration says it's time citizens step up to make a change.
I myself, I've raised several children, and I've often had to pick up more than half the expense, but making less income. So it's tricky. It's really, really hard.
The Bozeman business and professional women are raising awareness about equal pay by working with 15 local businesses. These businesses, including the Country Bookshelf, are giving a 26% discount to women customers to symbolize the current wage gap. BPW member Susan Neubauer says the pay gap isn't projected to be solved for another 50 years.
That's unacceptable. Equal pay is good for everyone, and achieving it will improve the financial status of women, their partners, and their children in our state, nation, and world.
Mayor Cindy Andrus says the city will continue to close this gap by working with local businesses.
The City of Bozeman encourages local businesses to consider their own hiring, promotional, and pay policies and hold them to standards that reflect equal opportunity and gender wage equity.
Andrus says the city hopes to get women to apply for jobs by cold calling qualified applicants. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Now here's an interesting note. Out of the 90 higher paying jobs with the city of Bozeman, 81 of them are held by male workers, so there's still much work to do.
There's big news for Bozeman residents. Construction has begun on the Story Mill Park. Planning for the 60-acre park began back in 2012. Since then, the Trust for Public Land has been working with the city of Bozeman to design that park. Construction is scheduled to continue through most of the year, with hopes that the park can be open and being used during the winter months for activities like sledding. Now, the finished Story Mill Park will be the largest in Bozeman. In order for construction to be completed in that time frame, $11.6 million had to be raised.
We've raised $10.395, so $10,395,000. We only have a little over 2 months, 11 weeks to reach that deadline so that construction can stay on track and this park will be built this year.
Some of the initial stuff has to do with grading and infrastructure, but then we'll start to see the park pavilions, the amazing landscaping, and all the other elements.
Now, of course, to learn more about the park and to see how you can donate and help out, visit us online.
Well, anyone, including me, who has ever dreamed of being an astronaut will certainly be jealous of what some Bozeman High students got to experience yesterday. Thanks to Astronomers Without Borders, the students were able to learn from and talk to, in real time, astronauts on the International Space Station. MTN's Morgan Davies has more on what the students learned about how they got an inside look at the ISS.
For the first time in history, Bozeman students were connected with Russian students and Russian astronauts from the International Space Station.
It was really cool to talk to an actual astronaut while he was in space.
What will you do when you are back on Earth? It was this reaction from students that made Lynn Powers accept the invitation from Astronomers Without Borders to host one of the first ever space lessons in the U.S. Space Lessons was produced by Russian company RT360. The lesson started just in Russian schools, but the company felt they could do more.
It is a great example of what we can achieve together.
Besides talking to the astronauts, Bozeman students were able to ask Russian students questions and see them perform experiments.
It was really cool to see what they were doing in their schooling, and it was just really cool to see what their classroom looked like and what they had to say, and their home experiments too. That was really cool.
And after the space lesson, students got to use virtual reality to see for themselves what it would be like living on the International Space Station.
It's so cool. You just look around and there's astronauts over here, there's the Earth just sitting there.
The only other U.S. school to be a part of the space lesson was in South Carolina. In Bozeman, Morgan Davies, MTN News.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about Astronomers Without Borders, you can visit us online.
That's like your dream
Super
come
jealous. Super jealous. I can't believe that they got to do that.
I like when the girls
awesome.
and then there's Earth in the background. It's just so
astronauts
cool.
are just sitting there looking at it. Very cool.
That is
Congrats
so
to those students. What a unique opportunity you just had.
Absolutely. Out of this world.
Literally, yeah. It's cool.
Happy Wednesday to you. When Montana This Morning returns, Senator John Tester grills Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg over our privacy rights.
Before that, though, let's check in with John Dickerson to see what's coming up at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll hear what other Silicon Valley executives think about Mark Zuckerberg's testimony yesterday. And Tesla's CEO Elon Musk tells us why new regulations might be needed. Also, the man who lost his job after pocket dialing his boss. See you at 7.